Think back to a time when you were deeply in love. Remember how delicious it felt. Remember how feelings of pleasure poured through your body and how much you adored your beloved. You felt good about yourself, about the world, and the relationship seemed great. You looked forward eagerly to a future full of bright promise. But did that honeymoon state last? No, it did not. Bit by bit, the magic faded. You began to see your partner's faults and notice little things that drove you crazy. You began to fight with your partner, and though you usually made up, each fight destroyed more and more of the goodwill you'd enjoyed at the start of the relationship. Piece by piece, the magic you'd felt at first went away. You blamed your partner, you blamed yourself, perhaps you felt resignation, frustration, betrayal, anger, or sadness. After a few years of trying, you gave up even attempting to make things better. Perhaps you went through several partners or several marriages with similar result. Or perhaps you've been married a long time and gone through ups and downs of expecting things to change, and then the bitter disappointment of finding out they just go downhill again. Each time you start out with so much hope, so many high expectations, so much promise. Each time the relationship doesn't work out the way you'd planned. You wind up bitter and disillusioned, wondering how something that seems so grand and perfect when you first fall in love can become so bad despite your best efforts. My name is Dawson Church, and I'm the author of the best-selling book, The Genie in Your Genes, as well as the forthcoming book, EFT for Love Relationships. I've been where you've been, and I know how much it hurts. I know how disappointed you are that your relationships have not worked out the way you'd expected. I've also watched the relationships of my friends fall apart and share their grief, their sorrow, their loss. Recently, I was at a social gathering and talked with a friend who just had a 6-year relationship come apart at the seams. She broke down in tears and wailed, "I try so hard. How come it always ends like this?" Other times, I'm so sad to see my friends get divorced. Married couples split apart, unlocking a horrible pit of anger, blame, and recrimination. If they have kids, the psychological health of those kids can be affected for life. But the good news is, it doesn't have to be that way. You can have the relationship of your dreams, and you can live in the honeymoon state day after day for years and years, and even decade after decade. As I watch my friends struggle and fight in their relationships, I've realized that some simple little skills can completely turn things around. So I've developed a passion for teaching proven techniques that foster long-term relationships, and I've collected all the best practices into this 12-week program for tapping into deep and lasting emotional intimacy. I'd like to tell you about all the ways in which this program produces radical and lasting change. But first of all, let's hear from some of the people who went through it. For the next 2 minutes, they'll tell you about the challenges they faced at the beginning. After you hear from them, I'll share an outline of the skills I taught them and do a little exercise with you to show you just how powerful these methods can be. Like the whole 12-week program, this exercise is based on cognitive neuroscience. You don't have to believe it will work or spend hours in practice. Just do this simple little physical exercise and you'll shift your whole emotional state. After the exercise, we'll hear back from the same people about their experience after they learned what you'll learn in this course. So here are some of the challenges people faced before they began.
Not feeling safe.
I attract angry and annoyed people into my life.
My way or the highway.
I don't trust.
Emotionally unavailable. I don't let people in.
I have a tendency to run away.
Sense of resentment.
Mistreatment and abandonment.
Feeling unimportant.
Never say no to anybody.
I've put up a wall
I never really felt quite worthy of being loved.
Change the dynamics of the relationship.
I'm so busy looking for love that I don't acknowledge it when I get it.
Like flying off the handle.
There are some challenges dealing with anger.
Feeling abandoned.
A real problem with intimacy.
I feel strong pressure to comply all the time. And
this feeling of not being accepted.
Fear of trusting others.
Anxiety problems.
I felt guilty about being embarrassed.
There's no way I can be suitable.
I have to fight not to lose.
Like there's no connection.
most of the way and not all of the way.
Not very receptive.
Feeling unimportant. Only being a support person.
Do you relate to this suffering? Can you see yourself in those faces and those words? That may be where you are today, but it does not have to be that way. Here's one little exercise you can use to shift the way you feel in 1 second. For instance, if you're in conflict with your partner, a friend, or a spouse, you can do this practical exercise on the spot. And here it is. Wait for it. Relax your tongue. Let your tongue be loose on the floor of your mouth. That's it. So with your tongue loose now, try and get angry. Try and think about the last fight with your spouse or partner, anything that bothers you, and try and get mad, but keep your tongue loose on the floor of your mouth. What you'll find is you can't get angry. You cannot get angry with your tongue on the floor of your mouth. The reason is, of course, because when your tongue is loose on the floor of your mouth, you're sending a signal to your nervous system that you're safe and the world as well. When we're upset, stressed, emotionally triggered, or angry, our tongues become rigid and are usually on the top of our mouths. When we relax our tongue consciously like this, we send a signal to our nervous system and our brain saying, there's no threat, there's no predator, no need for fight and flight, no need for stress, I'm safe. So this simple little exercise of allowing your tongue to relax tells your body, sends a signal to your nervous system, I'm safe, all's well with the world, things are okay, no need to get all stressed out. Even if your brain is thinking thoughts of stress, I'm remembering the fight with my partner, recalling the bad meeting at work, thinking about my teenage son or daughter, thinking about my parent who has these behaviors that so annoy me. This is all coming to your nervous system from your top of your brain, your frontal lobes, your prefrontal cortex. Then when you shift into having your tongue relaxed, it sends a second signal to your nervous system saying, well, maybe we're having all these thoughts of stress coming from the frontal lobes, but here's a signal from the body that there's no need to go to stress, and that second signal cancels out that stressful signal coming from your thinking brain. So this course is full of those little simple tips. Those can dramatically affect you because when you're in a jam, when you're in traffic, when you're having a fight with somebody, any stressful time, you relax your tongue, and immediately that tells your body you're not under a real attack, that all is well, and you relax, you're much better able to handle the real situation in that case. Unlike feel-good relationship courses that teach you superficial skills, every part of this 12-week program is based on sound behavioral and psychological science, just like the tongue exercise. I've scoured the scientific literature to bring you practices that really work. We don't just hope they work. These practices are part of the program because clinical trials tell us they work. The skills you learn don't require belief or elaborate techniques. Like the tongue exercise, they're dead simple, but fantastically effective. If one little exercise like this can be so effective, imagine how big a transformation you'll experience in the full 12 weeks. You don't even need your spouse or your partner to cooperate. You'll feel better even if they have no interest in personal growth. And guess what? If you start to change and become calmer, you open a new doorway for them to grow too. If you're single, you'll use this type of exercise to calm yourself in situations where you normally blow your top and set yourself up for great relationships in the future. My goal in this program is to rewire that part of your brain that processes relationship information. You have a section of your neural network that is activated when you're in love and a second part activated by frustration, anger, and fear. My goal is that you will leave after 12 weeks with a new brain. You'll have built up the neural pathways that handle love signaling and deactivated many of the pathways you currently use to process fear. Just like you build up a muscle by exercising in the gym, this course will rewire your brain, building up the circuits that produce positive love relationships. Imagine just 12 weeks from now that you have a new brain with all the neural pathways required to make the honeymoon last forever. You might not believe this is possible, but it is. Let's hear again from that same group of people after they learn the skills taught in this course.
Really did shift a lot of things for me.
I am much more hopeful that we can actually make it work.
I've already started to see the shifts.
That's the last piece of the puzzle. Now the puzzle's together.
I feel like I've shifted. In fact, I'm kind of excited because I'm looking forward to sort of working these tools with somebody.
Things are entering more easily now.
What I'm feeling now is even more than I anticipated.
I was looking for a place that was warm and having some kind of spiritual work or self-growth work, and it turned out to be this class.
Way beyond my expectations.
Right now I feel energized to get back to my life and use all the tools I've learned.
So I was so impressed and so amazed.
A bigger willingness to work on me.
I'm handling it much better.
I didn't think I was going to gain like this, and it's just been an incredible experience.
But when I learned it, it had such a dramatic effect on me. But EFT moved the needle so fast and so easily and smoothly, I was just totally blown away.
And being very fruitful and fun and satisfying to both of us.
Now that we have these tools, I see definite changes can be made.
This has been the least stressful time I've ever spent.
With such little effort to just be cracked wide open.
There's hope, and that feels really good. A little more confident.
A surprise of surprises, actually not hiding is more freeing than any possible benefit I could have got.
I feel like a teenager almost. Each day became safer.
It allowed me to show up.
It's all good in there, right? It's fine. I'm home.
I work on me and I strengthen myself, and you will work on you, and we both work together.
And we are all coming up out of normal through this beautiful escape hatch that you've created for us.
You can always learn something from people when they share, and I did.
I feel I'm strong enough that I can get along with through Marianne and myself with what we've learned.
My heart is so touched when I witness breakthroughs like this and see people like you break free from the habits that have kept them trapped in old relationship patterns for so long. Here's how they did this, and how you can do it too. They learned 12 crucial and essential skills that are absolutely necessary to creating and maintaining that honeymoon state. Week by week, here's what you get in this program. Week 1 is all about fostering secure attachment. There are 3 different attachment styles, and you were taught how to attach to other people as adults based on how you learned attachment as an infant. We'll review those 3 attachment styles and how they're affecting your current adult attachment style. Also, we'll work on exercises that help you live your present free of those past limitations. Week 2 is all about your shadow side. It's called Voices from the Shadow, about finding the parts of ourselves we've disowned or pushed away from ourselves. We feel they're unacceptable, so we don't make them part of our whole self. We'll find how to reclaim the gifts those shadows contain. Week 3 is all about neuroplasticity, how your brain is being shifted by every experience you have. It'll also help you understand why all the things you've tried so far in relationships have not worked, why it's so hard to change, and then give you some really remarkable new exercises that can shift those old patterns. Week 4 is called Emotional Mastery. I call it riding the wild elephant, that wild elephant of these emotions that burst from within you. How do you learn to control and contain those rather than having them jump out and wreck your relationships? Week 5 is called The Elephant in the Bedroom. How to make good sex great, using the power of that emotional mastery. Week 6 is all about avoiding spiritual bypass, how to find practices that foster true, deep, and lasting intimacy. Week 7 is about finding your soulmate with EFT. Whether or not you're in a relationship right now, you'll find there are skills that have to do with finding yourself, finding your core, and then allowing the core things that you know are important to pour out into a future relationship or your current relationship. Week 8 is all about freedom from love addiction, that addictive urge to find what you want, demanding that you get what you want from people outside of yourself, whether it's your current spouse or partner, or whether you're single and it's a potential future spouse or partner. That clinging, that wanting, that addictive desire for getting things from other people is a huge barrier to true intimacy. The theme we cover this week is about antidotes to love addiction. Week 9 is all about when only one person wants to change. I'm sure you've been in this situation and you can relate to this idea that you want so much for the relationship to be better and your partner just doesn't care. What do you do? It is so frustrating to be in that situation where you want to change, your partner doesn't. So week 9 is all about what to do when you're unequally yoked, when one person wants to change and the other one does not. Week 10 is about relationship as a spiritual path and using your relationship to support your spiritual journey. Week 11 is about dealing with attractions and affairs. We all are attracted to other people at some point in our relationship career. We're in a relationship and we find this irresistible draw to another person. What do we do? And how do we use that energy of another person to actually build and improve our current relationship? The final week is on energy ecology and how to cultivate a beautiful energy ecosystem. This course includes all 12 chapters of the expanded version of my book, EFT for Love Relationships, as well as videos of actual sessions with couples and single people. You'll also receive an audio program each week to tap along with. The program also includes a year of live coaching calls where I'll work with you and others on whatever problems you bring up. You'll be on the line live, sharing the emotional breakthroughs, the highs and the lows that people have. We'll share one-to-one and straight from the heart. We're offering this program now at an incredibly low introductory price. It's less than what you'd pay for even a few hours of marriage counseling in a therapist's office. You also get a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. So if you find the program is not right for you, you have nothing to lose. As you can tell, I believe passionately in this program and the huge difference it can make in your life. Most of the suffering you have experienced in relationships is optional, and I don't want you to suffer 1 minute longer. That's why I urge you to grab this opportunity with both hands today. Dump that suffering and embrace a new relationship future. For acting today, I'm going to give you some amazing bonuses. They're from relationship experts that I know personally, like John Gray, author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, from Donna Eden, author of Energy Medicine, and from Gay Hendricks, co-author of Conscious Relationships. After you click the buy button and purchase the program, we'll email you a welcome letter and give you the date of the next live coaching call. Join me on that coaching call live and start the exciting journey of rewiring your brain for the honeymoon state. I look so forward to joining you there. Click the Buy button now for your risk-free, money-back start to a great relationship future. Thank you.